Hello dear students, welcome back to your science classes. How are you all? I hope you all are healthy and doing well. So students, I'm your science educator again here with a new chapter. And today we have chapter number 4, which is reproduction and parental care in animals. So first of all, we have to clear that in today's class we are going to learn about animals, right? But what kind of things we have to learn about animals? The first, reproduction. In our last chapters, we already understood about reproduction, and I hope so. And finger crossed, you have learned the definition of it, and you as well as you understood it. Okay, so now we have to understand what does mean by parental care. So, parental care means how animals protect their babies from dangers and how they help them to survive and grow. So, students, let's get started this chapter. So, today we have a learning objective. The first, animals that give birth to young ones. So animals give birth to young ones means they do not lay eggs, right? We have two kinds of animals. First, the baby form they have they the first who lay eggs and the second who do not. So who do not lay eggs, they birth to young ones as human beings too, because when you born you are not in any kind of egg yet, you are a new one, right? So similarly, next, animals that lay eggs, and the last we have to learn about the and understand about the parental care. So all animals to die after some time, as we already know. So in order to ensure that their kind lives on, they reproduce. Reproduction is essential for the survival and continuity of life of all organisms on earth. So we already understood that all of us we have to die one day. That is why the main thing we have to reproduce same kind of ourselves to protect our generation and to continue the and to manage the continuity of the life. Now animals that give birth to young ones, all animals do not reproduce in the same way, as we already know that some of the animals laid eggs or some of them do not. So mammals including humans give birth to young ones, and these young ones are resemble their parents. Resemble their parents means that your face and your mother and father face look like each other, right? It means it means they resemble. It means you resemble to your parents. Okay. So animals that lay eggs. We have cow and calf, dog and pups, sheep and lamb, goat and cat. These are the animals we have who give birth to young ones. Now we have some of them animals who do not who lay eggs generally. Okay, so now we are going to learn about the animals that lay eggs. Except mammals, other animals such as birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and insects reproduce laying eggs. Such animals are called egg laying animals. So, till now, what we understood here, we have two kinds of animals. Okay, one who do not lay eggs, and one who lay eggs. Okay, so who do not lay eggs and reproduce young ones like themselves. The examples we have cow, dog, sheep, goat. So the baby of cow is called calf. The baby of dog is pups. The baby of sheep is lamb. So we understood this. Now we have to discuss the animals who lay eggs. These are the birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish and insects who reproduce by laying eggs. So such animals are called egg laying animals. Eggs are laid in safe places under suitable conditions. Eggs hatch into young ones. So after some time, with proper and favorable condition, these eggs reproduce young ones by hatching it. Okay. So now we are going to learn about how birds reproduce. All eggs laid by a female bird at one time are called a clutch. The size of clutches varies widely among different kinds of birds. However, most birds lay 2 to 8 eggs. The word clutch and the word bunch means a group, right? So at a one time, the eggs laid by the eggs laid by a female bird, it's called clutch. Their sizes vary to different vary to their sizes vary bird to bird, and the number we have 2 to 8 eggs generally each and every kind of bird is laying. Now the eggs of most birds are similar in shape, however they vary in color and size. So what we understand here, this shape is similar, okay, but their color and size differ and vary bird to bird. The smallest bird, bee, human hummingbird, lays the smallest eggs, weighing as little 0.25 gram, and the largest bird, ostrich, lays the largest eggs, weighing about 1.8 kilogram. So, as the name suggests, smallest, largest, the smallest bird, hummingbird, have smallest egg, and the largest bird, ostrich, has the largest eggs, and their weight lie 0.25 gram and 1.8 kilogram respectively. So these are the examples. We have egg of bee, hummingbird, eggs of duck, eggs of eagle, and eggs of ostrich. Eggs hatch after 3 to 4 weeks. So as human beings and mammals, it's vary, but as human beings have reproduction time 9 months, right? As generally the bird's hatching time is the eggs hatching time is around 3 to 4 weeks of incubation. Nearly all birds incubate their eggs by sitting on them. By sitting on them, they provide a optimum temperature to the eggs. In most cases, only the female birds incubate. The growing chick inside the eggs is called embryo. It uses the yolk as its food. So, what we understand here, the growing chick we have inside the egg, it's called embryo. What you eat, na yellow part in your egg, that is your embryo, and it uses the yolk as its food. Now we are going to learn about the reptiles we have. Reptiles means crocodiles, snake, turtles, and lizards. How they lay their eggs, let's understand. Reptiles like lizards, snakes, tortoises, turtles, and crocodiles lay their eggs in hidden places like rotten wood, a hole in the wall or ground, or elsewhere on land. In most cases, the heat of the sun warms the eggs, causing them to hatch. So what we understand here, these are the reptiles we have: crocodiles, snake, turtles, and they generally lay their eggs on high places, okay, where no one can see them, and sun help us to give the warmth to hatch, okay. Now we are going to learn about fish. A fish lays thousands of eggs in water. Out of this, only a few develop into adult fish. Many eggs and baby fish are eaten by big fish. The eggs of most kinds of fish hatch in less than 2 months. Eggs laid in warm water hatch faster than those laid in cold water. So, as we already know, fish is a water animal, and if we have a water animal, so generally it means they lay their eggs in water only, and at one time as bird hatch around 2 to 8 eggs, okay, the clutch of it. Now fish have it's produced thousands of eggs, which only some of them are converted into adult ones, and otherwise rest of the are eaten by big fish or cannot develop fully maturely due to unfavorable condition. And further, how many times they consider to convert into a adult fish? Only 2 months they need to reproduce properly. And eggs who laid in warm water, they have more favorable condition as compared who laid in cold water. Next we have frog. Frogs lay their eggs in water. Again, frog is a kind of an animal who can on ground and as well as in water, but where they lay their eggs in water only. The group of eggs is called a spawn. Okay, as in bird we say clutch, and in for frog we say clone. Sorry, spawn. The eggs of frog hatch into tail larvae called tadpoles. The tadpole grows and slowly change into an adulting frog. Further, when you this process is called metamorphosis. In your bigger classes, you understand the life cycle of frog and why we called it metamorphosis. In this case, you just have to understand here, these are the eggs laid by this frog. Further, they converted into tadpole, and after they converted into tadpole with legs, this legs, and further they converted into a adult frog, and this process is called metamorphosis, okay. Now we have insects. A female insect probably lays an average of 100 to 200 eggs during its lifetime. Some may lay more than a billion. In most insects, including houseflies, bees, beetles, ants, moths, and butterflies, there are 4 stages of life cycle. So, what we understand here about insect, female insects generally lays around 100 to 200 eggs. First of all, we have to understand this. In most of the When we say reproduction, so in most of the category only female have this talent, we can say, or this power, कि they can give to birth a new ones. It doesn't matter to birth a new ones in a egg, by laying egg or without it. But in most of the cases you see only female insect, female bird, female frog, only they can reproduce. Okay. And when a female insect probably lays an average, it's around 100 to 200, and in their whole lifetime they give around more than billion of eggs. That is how many eggs are given by this insect in their whole life, billion. Okay. Now in most insects, including these are the examples we have: housefly, bees, beetles, ants, moths, and butterflies. And all of these have a common four cycle procedure, which is: first they produce egg, further the eggs converted into larva, and this larva further converted into pupa, and then further it will become an adult insect. It could be your bees, houseflies, and beetles. So these are the four processes they have to go through to become a adult insect. The larva is a worm-like creature that looks completely different from the adult. The larva simply eats and grows and molts several times. So what we understand, this is your egg, right? They further converted into your larva. And this larva, you can also say caterpillar. And after this caterpillar, further will converted into pupa. And this pupa will further converted into butterfly. So this is your life cycle for butterfly. There is one of in Doraemon cartoon, we have this life cycle of butterfly episode. If you want to watch it in a cartoon way, you can go through and search for that Doraemon episode, and you will understand how this butterfly, for how they lay eggs, then they converted into larva, further into pupa, and then butterfly. So the larva simply eats and grows and molts several times. When the larva completes its growth, it stops eating. So generally larva eat moths for their growth, and when they completely grow, they stop eating. It turns into pupa. After a while, the pupal sac bursts, and from it comes the adult insect. So it is kind of this kind of pupa we have, and it is slowly burst, and out of it a beautiful butterfly comes out. So larvae of many insects have special names. Maggot larva called housefly larva called maggot, beetles larva called grub, and mosquitoes larva called common, comma, or wriggler. So in some insects, including grasshoppers, cockroaches, and mayflies, there are only three stages in the life cycles. The first, they lay eggs, then they convert it into nymph, and further they become a adult one. The baby which comes out of the eggs look much like the full grown insect, except that it has no wings. It is called a nymph. So when your egg, this egg converted into nymph, so what is the difference between an adult or a nymph? It has no legs. Okay. So what we understand, that it has no wings. Okay, sorry. So in nymph, what we understand here, that it has no wings. Rather than wings, it is similar look like your full adult. After shedding its outer skin, molting a few times, the adult comes out with its wings fully developed. So after their molting time, when their skin, outer skin is just comes Hmm. So when they comes out when they comes out, when the shedding process is done and the molting is removed after some time, then they converted it into a full adult by having their wings. Now we are going to learn about the parental care. So till now we just read about how the different animals, insects are reproduce themselves, right? Now we are going to learn how they protect and help them to grow. So let's understand. Any form of parental behavior that appears likely to increase the fitness of parents' offspring or young ones, it's called parental care. So in this case, what we do, what we understand here, that when our parents, yeah, animals parents, generally they help us to increase the fitness of parents' offspring. Means they want to increase the fitness of their new ones, that it's called parental care. Now, all mammals except parental care, usually the mother cares for the young ones. Sometimes the male parent, father, also helps. The mother feeds the babies, clean them, and protects them from rough weather and enemies. So, as we already know that our mother is our protector, right? We all know that. Same process and same concept apply for the animals as well. Their mother help us to grow, and they feed them, they clean them, and protect them from rough weather and from their animals as well. In animals case, now their babies are always in dangerous just because of that, because the big animals want to eat their babies. So that is why in animals their mother are more protective and help them to grow. So the parents teach them to find food and live on their own. The parent animals, they have a close relationship only up to a certain period of time. As in human beings, we have our mothers for a long time of period when we grow and we get old. But in animals, they provide that kind of attachment and relationship for certain time of a period. And during this time period, they teach them how they have to find their food, how they have to fight for themselves, and how they have to live in on this earth their own. Okay, so now most birds show biparental care. Care includes nest building, incubation of eggs, and feeding young ones. So this now cow with calf is one of the example for this, monkey with infant, and kangaroo with joy. So in reptiles, parental care is uncommon. In crocodile, males and females respond to call of hatchlings that hatch underground. Parents dig them up and carry them in their mouths to the water. So what they do, they just carry in, take their babies in, dig them up and carry them out mouths to the water. Matlab basically, okay, means what they do, they just take their babies in their mouth for traveling. Okay. Now, at least 25% of fish demonstrate parental care. Male care is more common than female care. So, in fish category, what we understand in this case, male are protecting babies rather than fishes, female fishes. Example of such care are egg guarding, cleaning eggs, etc. Frogs and toads exhibit some sort of parental care. Tadpole attendance and its feeding is the main care. In insects, parental care is uncommon. Scorpions and spiders carry their brood on the back and provide food for larvae. So, what we understand here, in fish category, males are protecting their babies. And what are the things they have done for their babies? They do their cleaning, they have protecting their eggs. Okay. Now, in frogs and toads, the two main thing which we include in parental care is first the attendance of the tadpole, because they have so many tadpoles. So first of all, you have to count them. They are, all are protected or not by taking their attendance. As you do take your attendance, as you give your attendance in morning in your class, and after this they feed them. This is main care which is done by both of them, female as well as male. In insects, parental care is uncommon. What they do, they just take their babies on their back and provide food to them. Now this is the end of your chapter. I hope so students you understood about reproduction for different animals, and you also understand how and you also understand what does mean by parental care and how the animal give parental care to their animals. So this is the end of your chapter. Now I'm going to meet you in your next class. Till that, bye bye. Have a good day.